am glad I did, but then at the same time, there's a fly if you can see that. If I start talking and this fly moves, I'm going to be so annoyed. Where is it? I'm just going to sit here patiently as if I'm not about to do anything. It's on the light box, but I don't want to touch my light box. Oh my god. Is it gone? I can't even remember what I was saying. Oh my god. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I have a video on surviving the first year of university. I've seen quite a few videos of these and I always think they're quite interesting. I really like listening to other people's tips. So I thought, I'll try one of these as well. So, freshers. I absolutely loved it. I loved all the different events like dressing up for superhero night, and I really like schoolies. For me, first year of uni, I did a lot of partying and a lot of going out. But I had fun. Most of the time you go to uni when you've just finished your A-levels, so you're around 18, or you might go later if you want to. But you might not have had that much experience with drinking alcohol as well as just going out in general. I hadn't been out that much. I'd been out a handful of times, but I wasn't really used to drinking. I do feel like uni taught me how to pace myself when I'm drinking. That sounds really bad, but I mean, like, as I was trying different types of alcohol and drinking quite regularly, I knew what I was able to handle and what I wasn't. So I know now that if I was to drink whiskey as a pre-drink on a night out, then I probably wouldn't make it to that night out. Yeah, just go a bit easy on the alcohol. It can all be really exciting when you first get there and you're with different people, new people, and there's all these parties, but try not to get too ahead of yourself, because the last thing you want is to be the one that everyone has to look after because you're ill. You won't have to be sent home in a taxi like before 12 o'clock. So just try and go a little bit easy. Probably will be going to quite a few pre-drink parties. For those of you who don't know what pre-drinking is, I'm sure most of you will do, but if you don't, pre-drinking is when you just drink alcohol before you go out with other friends. You get a chance to just sort of chill out beforehand, before you go out and chat to people, and then as well you don't have to spend as much money when you get to the place you're going as you would if you hadn't have pre-drunk. For me, pre-drinking was really good for socialising and meeting different people. A lot of the time as well, you won't know many people, if anyone, but it's a good way to make friends. And when you get back from a night out, make sure that you drink water as much as you possibly can. For me, I used to drink about a litre or a litre and a half, and although it's a bit annoying because you're going to the toilet every half hour, but it is definitely a good idea because when you wake up you don't feel as dehydrated and not as, hungover. A really important thing to do is to just get to know everybody and just be yourself and be friendly and approachable. Get to know as many people as you can. If you're going to halls, then make sure that you get to know your flatmates. Even if you don't become best of friends with them, it's still good to just be on good terms with them anyway, because obviously you're living with them. Good thing as well is that everybody is in the same boat as you. Everyone wants to make friends. Everyone just wants to have fun and have a good time. So people will be more reciprocative. Reciprocative, is that the word? People will be more open to meeting new people and making friends. So it's definitely a good thing to just be really open-minded, not think about things too much, and just chat to everyone. It's a good idea to join a society. I think it sort of teaches you to have a sense of responsibility in a way. So when you finish uni, life is all about juggling, prioritising, and just learning to cope with different tasks all at once. So joining a society will be handy because it will just give you a little bit of experience juggling with the society and then uni work and then obviously social life as well. As well, it's another way to meet more people and make more friends. The student diet is known for being not the healthiest of diets. My diet was, the first year wasn't the best, but second and third year I wasn't too bad, to be honest. Don't get me wrong, I loved having my takeaways at the end of a night out. Mine was cheesy chips and barbecue sauce and mayonnaise, or sweet chilli and mayonnaise. If you don't end your night out with a takeaway, then it wasn't a night out. Just try and make sure that you're eating healthily at least maybe a few times of the week, just so you're not constantly eating rubbish. When you go to uni, sometimes you can have really long days. You need to make sure that the food you're eating is fueling your brain at the same time. So if you're just eating burgers and chips and frozen pizza every day, then you're probably going to feel more lethargic and not going to feel as energized. Even just twice, 3 times a week, make an effort to eat a bit better. And if you can't cook, don't worry, that is what YouTube is for. There are so many different recipes, people that do different meals for students that are not only really tasty but simple and cheap as well. There is no excuse. Another thing I used to do as well was to cook with my housemates. Just get together in the kitchen and just make something like spaghetti bolognese, and we would all sit and eat together and watch a bit of telly and chat. And that's really nice as well. So I had a car before I went to uni, and a lot of people I knew that did have cars and that didn't have cars were saying that there was no point taking it because you weren't going to need it and everything you need would be on campus and it was a waste of time and blah 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 blah. Taking my car was the best thing ever. I was able to move all my stuff from home to uni with me, and as well when I moved back home at the end of each term I didn't have to ask any family to help me out because I was able to just bundle everything into my car. I have the biggest car as well. I've got a Peugeot 107. It's like a 1 litre, it's quite dinky, but I was able to fit all my bits and bobs into it, and it was just really handy. I was able to be quite independent. I would be going food shopping, my housemates would come as well and we'd all do it together, and it just made things so much easier. I personally don't like going to the shop every other day to get food. I just find it annoying doing it in dribs and drabs, and I feel like you can spend more money that way as well. So I prefer to do a weekly shop or a fortnightly shop instead. And as well, my course was like a performance-based degree, so we sometimes had to take props in to use in our performances, so it was really handy to have the car because although it was only up the road, it meant I could carry as much stuff as I needed to back and forth. If your degree is going to be hands-on in that sense, then it's a good idea for that. You know, sometimes when you fancy that midnight snack and all the local shops in your area are closed, or if you're about to go on a night out and you've completely forgotten to buy pre-drinks, it means that you can pop to the 24-hour Asda that is like 15 minutes down the road. So again, handy for that. I definitely think taking my car was the best thing I did. I probably would have been lost without it. Try not to leave your drink unattended, just because you really can't trust anyone. You could turn your back for 2 seconds and anything could happen. I used to dance with my drink on the dance floor. Obviously, not everywhere you go will allow this because of, you know, broken glass and stuff. But if you can, take your drink with you. Or I used to drink my drink first, quickly, and then I would go and dance so that I wouldn't have to leave my drink unattended. So if you end up in a situation where at the end of the first year you haven't found anyone that you can move in with, don't panic. I was in that exact same situation. For me, I just didn't find any housemates that I clicked with. It's just one of those things. I did have 2 girls that I was supposed to move in with. I can't remember what happened now though. I can't remember, but something ended up happening anyway and I couldn't move in for whatever reason. A lot of the time things can still work out anyway. In my second year I ended up moving in with people that I didn't know, random house. These 3 girls all happened to be friends already and they were on the same course, and I was thinking, oh god, this is probably not going to turn out too well, is it? I'm just probably going to be a bit of a loner. But we ended up being really great friends and they made my second year probably the best year of my uni experience. You never know what's going to happen. You don't always make friends in halls or even on your course. You might end up making friends in different places. Try not to worry too much. So it can be a bit daunting moving away from home, and you can feel homesick sometimes, but I would say that going home regularly, say every weekend, is definitely not the best thing. You need to get into your own routine and you need to get familiar with your surroundings. Going back home every so often isn't gonna help. Just try not to rely too much on friends from back home and just try and make the best out of the situation that you have. Keeping yourself busy at uni and getting stuck in is better than going home all the time. Being in uni in terms of work is completely different to being in school, as you probably might think. If I wasn't able to do an assignment in school, then a lot of the time I would get quite a bit of help from my teachers, and there was always a lot of support and guidance. I'm not saying there isn't at uni, but it is definitely more about learning independently. If you hand in an assignment in late or you don't hand it in at all, then you are going to face some sort of consequence for that. And the rules most of the time are very strict unless you have a really good reason. If you don't understand something in class, just say. Book a meeting with your tutor just to make sure that you've got everything. If I had a seminar, those of you that don't know, in seminars you usually have to discuss within your class about whatever topic it is that you're learning about, and you usually get marked and observed on this. Now, I'm not someone who can read something and then take in everything instantly. I need to sort of go over it a bit more and have more time for it to sink in. Obviously, everyone is different in terms of learning. Sometimes the night before I would spend maybe an hour or two just reading over the notes and making sure that I understood it. When you have assignments, try your hardest to really plan and make sure that they're done in time. I mean, done within good time. Give yourself, I don't know, maybe a good 2 weeks or so. The longer the better. The more time you spend in it, then obviously the more you'll be able to put into it. You don't want to be doing all-nighters. I've done a few of them in my time. Not loads, but a few. All I'm saying is, it involves a lot of coffee. I think I used to drink like 8 coffees in a night, no exaggeration. You can imagine my digestive system the next day. So saying, prepare to plan or plan to fail. I can't remember. I'll link it in a description box. So I think this is something that isn't mentioned that much, but I think that by the end of the first year you should really know whether this course is for you or not. I think it's really important to evaluate and be honest with yourself. If you have the instincts or any gut feelings that this is the wrong course, then you really need to do something about that. And I know it can be daunting because you feel like, oh, what if I have to move unis completely? And sometimes there might be a course that is so similar to yours that is in the exact same uni, and you might not need to change where you're living or anything. It's just a case of finding out about it. I personally didn't have the best uni experience in terms of my degree. I knew from the first year that it wasn't for me, but I didn't want to leave. I felt like it was better to just push through and get my degree. And although I am really, really glad that I was able to work hard and get to the end of my degree and graduate, at the same time I feel like I made it so much harder for myself because I could have had a better experience if I had have just changed courses. You're not going to love all parts of your course. There's going to be parts that you don't enjoy, but if overall 80% of what you're doing you don't like it, then obviously that's a sign that you're not on the right course. Be aware that it's just going to get harder. So for me, I was able to stick out the first and the second year. Third year was just really difficult, so bear that in mind. And lastly, just make sure that you have fun. Have a good time. Uni really was probably the best time of my life. I really miss it. I am so jealous when I see people on Facebook or whatever talking about uni, and when I see students in pubs and stuff, and I think, oh, they're so lucky. But it is so true. When you're in uni, just in this bubble, it used to annoy me when people used to say students never used to do anything, because I think you do still work hard, obviously, but at the same time, all you have to worry about is uni, really. Whereas in the real world, you've got like 500 other things to worry about as well. So just enjoy being in your bubble. Yeah, just have a good time. For me, I felt like the first year is obviously about working hard as well, in terms of, you know, assignments and your degree, because you're at uni to get a degree. But then at the same time, I feel like the first year is more for like getting settled in and establishing yourself and just getting used to this new place that's going to be your home. So that brings me to the end of my video. Yeah, thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, comment down below, and also subscribe to make sure you don't miss out on my other videos. I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.